wants, the more power it gets. That's how poor performance and toxic behaviors survive in organizations. People keep feeding it attention. That's the concept of the energy pendulum. Every problem, every person, every bit of drama at work swings on one. And every time you react, complain, or even replay the situation in your head, you're feeding the pendulum. You're keeping it alive. Strong leaders don't do that. They don't let emotional chaos dictate their focus. They understand that energy is currency, and in every reaction is a withdrawal from their power. So the next time that difficult coworker or ego-driven boss tries to pull you into their mess, don't take the bait. Starve their pendulum. Redirect your attention toward performance, clarity, and results. Because the moment that you stop fueling what drains you, it dies out. And that's when you win quietly with focus, not frustration. So what do you think? Do you agree that ignoring the noise is the most powerful leadership move there is? Or do you think sometimes you have to call it out? Let me know what you think in the comments. Save this post because a lot of you keep asking me this one question. And that question is, how do I actually prove retaliation or discrimination after I file a complaint? All right, let's talk about it because this is where most employees get blindsided. The first thing you need to understand, retaliation and discrimination are legal terms, not vibes. Your feeling isn't enough. The behavior has to match the actual definition. So here's how you build your case, professionally, calmly, and as always, with receipts. If after your complaint, suddenly your world flips, your hours get cut, your pay gets reduced, you're demoted, you get a surprise negative performance review, you're excluded from meetings you've always been a part of, or your manager suddenly develops amnesia after your contributions. Yeah, that's not coincidence. That's a pattern. But listen closely. You can't prove a pattern without proof. This is where most people fail because they think HR will remember what happened. They won't. You need a record. So here's what you do. Write this down. 1, document everything. Dates, times, who was involved, what was said, what changed, and how fast it changed after your complaint. 2, keep copies of your work performance, reviews, emails where you received praise, meeting invites, project wins, anything that shows a before and after picture. 3, send follow-up emails after something questionable happens. Write, per our conversation today, I want to summarize what occurred. Congratulations, you just created a time-stamped paper trail. 4, track any sudden changes, a shift in duties, being left out of meetings, new rules that only apply to you. All of that matters. Individually, these things might look small. Collectively, they show a clear and measurable shift directed at your complaint. That's how you prove retaliation or discrimination. Not with emotion, but with evidence. Not with stories, but with structure. Be calm, be factual, be the person with receipts. Because in corporate, the paper trail protects you when nothing else will. And if this is something that you've lived through or something that sounds familiar, put corporate in the comments. Have you ever rage quit? Well, I have. And if you'll stick around for a couple minutes, I'm going to tell you the story about how my rage quitting put me on your FYP. So I had this great job, right? Great salary. I was head of a department. I was leading teams. I was doing the things. And this job checked all of the boxes for me. And yet I was miserable. I was so unhappy at my job and I couldn't figure out why. I was making changes. I was doing things. Employee morale was up. Attrition was down. I had a great team of people around me. Everything looked really, really great on paper. And yet every day I left and I was miserable. Every Sunday night, I had the Sunday scaries. I would dread logging into work every single day, so much so that I ended up getting physically ill. And then I started to take stock. I started to really kind of take notice of what was going on. And I started to notice that my leadership did not have clear communication. My leadership, even though we would go through exercises just to say that they were done, but we never made progress on them. I had a direct manager who really liked to take personal digs at me and was micromanaging and controlling. And when I confronted them about it, they said, well, then quit, right? Just quit. When I started to notice the toxic work environment, I couldn't get help within the organization. I had no support. I had no way of navigating these work situations. And so I quit. I quit in a fit of rage because I just couldn't do it any longer. And then I had to make a plan. I had to figure out, what can I do going forward? But not only what can I do going forward, how can I prevent this for other people? How can I create something that will help people not feel so alone, but also know that micromanaging and controlling and hostile work environments are not acceptable. It's not something that we have to tolerate. And so I built a thing. I built a community, and I built downloads that you can go and download to help you navigate your work situations, to help you not feel so alone, and to help you feel seen and how to navigate work situations until you can make a plan to get out of your toxic work environment. So if this sounds good to you, double tap. Let me know that you feel seen. And if you feel so inclined, go grab my download on how you communicate effectively at work, as well as how you deal with narcissistic managers, bullying at work, and toxic work environments. I cannot wait for the comments on this one. So let's talk about toxic positivity at work, because masking dysfunction with fake smiles isn't leadership. Here are 4 signs you suffer from toxic positivity. 1, good vibes only culture. If people have to pretend everything's fine just to survive the team meeting, that's not morale, that's a psychological hostage situation. 2, dismissing discomfort with cliches. Just be grateful, or look on the bright side. All that does is tell people their actual concerns don't matter. So they shut up, shut down, and check out. 3, rewarding fake optimism over real feedback. If being positive gets you further than being honest, you're not managing a team, you're running a pageant. And 4, shaming emotions like frustration or fear. Newsflash, being human at work isn't a weakness. If people feel like they have to fake it to stay safe,